Okay, with this page, this is going to be 4-2, and this is going to be multiplying monomials. So just to review from I'd say this probably took you no more than 3 minutes to move over to part 2. A monomial is one term. It is either a number, it is a variable, or it is a product of a number and a variable. So let's talk about what do you do when you multiply monomials. So you have a couple situations when you're dealing with multiplying monomials. So your first example would be if you had something like 4, let's do different colors. So if you need a pause to get a couple colors, go ahead and do that. I don't care if you match my colors, but get a couple. I don't know what I'll be doing right now as far as how many to use. All right, so 4 to the 7th times 4 to the 6th. Zoom in just a bit. All right, when you see a situation like that, when it is powers that have the same base, you will add the exponents. Okay, so we're going to make a note of that. Let me zoom out a little bit so you can see it all fit together. So, powers with the same base add exponents. And maybe yeah, I like that. Okay, so let's do a couple of practice problems. So let's say 22, and I'm going to use the same colors, to the 5th times 22 to the 9th equals, what should it equal? See if I can focus anymore. Hopefully you know that it equals 22, same base, you're going to add the exponents to the 14th power. Okay, now we'll do another one. Let's say 7h, and we're going to multiply 5h to the 3rd. Oop, didn't do a color. All right, so in this situation, we have our numerical coefficients. So you multiply those two. And then we're talking about our h. We have the same base because our base is h. H is what has the exponent attached to it. 7 and 5 are just hanging out there as coefficients to be multiplied. So think about your h, this first h. What is its exponent? Hopefully you're thinking, oh, well, duh, it's 1. So at this point, you would have 35 h. If this is 1 and we have a 3 here, h to the 4th. Okay. And let's do one more complicated. Let's say negative 10 x squared 7x cubed. So take a second, pause the video, and see based on what we said here and our examples, what you can come up with as far as what your answer should be. Okay, so hopefully you got negative 70, because that's negative 10 times the 7. We have the same base dealing with our exponents. Our x is our base. And then we still add. So hopefully that's what you got. Okay. Our second example, when we're dealing with monomials and exponents, is when you have a power raised to a power. So instead of red, like I used on the first example, I'm going to use, what's a different color? I use purple, I guess. So that way, it's just, for those visual people, it's a different color, it's a different thing to remember. So our initial example will be 2 to the second. We're not even going to throw variables in yet. And all of that, can you tell it's a different color? Not really, can you? Let's see, pink. It looks a little like the red on the video, but maybe it won't look so much like it on your notes. If you want to choose a different color, I don't care, as long as your exponent is a different color. Okay, back to the problem. 2 to the second, and then we're going to put that entire thing cubed. All right, so in this situation, your answer would be 2 to the 6th. And we could also go ahead and finalize that as an answer, but that's not the lesson we're focusing on now. We're focusing on what to do with exponents. So this will be, if you have a power raised to a power, you multiply the exponents. You can see that. All right, so we're going to circle the word multiply here. And if you want to say power raised to power, something that kind of just stands out to you, that's what you need to do. Okay, so let's talk about some practice problems. Papers where you can see everything. All right, so the first one we're going to do, let's get everything lined up. 6 to the 3rd, and I want to see that 4 times. So just think about what that means. That means 6 to the 3rd, 6 to the 3rd, 6 to the 3rd, 6 to the 3rd. All of that is happening 4 times. So when it's a power raised to a power, you multiply. So your answer should be 6, what? To the 12th. Now hopefully you're thinking, oh, this is easy. The difficult part, really, it is easy, but the difficult part is just remembering another rule. So you're going to have to put effort into practicing these rules. All right, so let's throw a variable in there now. W to the 4th raised to the 5th power. There is your W. You should think, okay, I'm multiplying, so 4 times 5 is 20. 20 would be your answer. All right, let's do one more and make it just a little bit more difficult. So we're going to start in parentheses. We're going to say n to the 2nd, x to the 5th, and that together, because it is a monomial, its variables multiply together, we're going to put all of that to the 3rd power. So take a second, pause the video, and see if you can come up with what you should see. Okay, so we're going to talk about our n first. N. The exponent on n is 2. It has the outside power of 3, so that would be n to the 6th. We're going to talk about our x now. X is there. It has the inside power of 5. The power of 3 is assigned to that power of 5. Okay. So hopefully you got those right. And if so, you're doing good. And if not, just practice and you'll be fine. Move on to the next assignment.